Well, hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the careers of Rhett and Link, the original internet-tainers. But the real question is, are they or are they not putting on a show for you in their videos? Let's talk about that. So, the likelihood is that most of you already know who Rhett and Link are. They have been on YouTube for more or less as long as people have been watching YouTube. With their show Good Mythical Morning, it has brought joy and entertainment to many people's lives for very many years. However, when they started out, their show was not called Good Mythical Morning. In fact, it was called Supernote, and this was well over 10 years ago that they started this show, and it has evolved over time to the Good Mythical Morning content that many of us know and love today. Today I'm going to be looking at their nonverbal communication to see how it has developed or transformed over the years of their time on YouTube. We should hopefully be able to have a little bit of fun and enjoyment during the time. If you know somebody that you would like to be able to see me analyze their body language over the years, please let me know in the comments below. Hopefully it might be able to happen in a future video. But I think that's enough chit chat. Let's go ahead and start looking at some of the old content of Rhett and Link. I want to go ahead and let you know that this is not their first video ever, but it is the first talk show footage that I could find of them, and let's just start watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the... What are we holding out? The node?
I think we should hold on the live.
Okay.
Live.
This is the Supernote Oh my goodness. Was anybody timing that?
Wow, what a time that was. Right off the bat, I want to actually point out something non-verbally. They are already pretty relaxed in front of camera, and this is largely due to the fact that they have done multiple years of content creation before actually starting the channel that we know and love them for today. So they're already well attuned to how to behave and perform in front of camera. You can see a little bit of forced body language as they're really pushing a certain level of energy that we know for a fact they are not really naturally prone towards. But all in all, they're very relaxed and pretty easily viewable, and that's a delight to see. It's odd to see somebody so well attuned to camera performance non-verbally already, but it's good to be able to see. So we'll have to see how this actually evolves over time. Does it change any? Does it mellow out? Does it get more crazy? We'll have to continue watching. But that was a fun intro, right?
Lance, cameraman Lance, were you timing that?
I didn't even take a breath. That was my problem. I didn't take a breath.
Skype Mike, were you timing that? Oh, my lungs burst with the bosom.
Welcome to Supernote Live. This is the culmination of the most incredible YouTube.
Just hand gestures and body language going crazy. So this is a classic example of a YouTuber or a pair of YouTubers really pushing the energy level that they don't have into their content in order to become more entertaining for the people that they're watching. This is not the normal nonverbal communication of Rhett and Link. In fact, it's not the normal nonverbal communication of just about anybody. It's very over the top, it's very exaggerated, and it's very misaligned. But, I mean, it was kind of done for the sake of show. And I'm going to talk more about that for the sake of show bit a little bit later on in the video. For now, let's just keep watching some of young Rhett and Link here.
Experiment, user collaboration in the history of at least the past 3 months of YouTube.
Of the last few weeks of the internet. It's entertainment at its finest when people can hold out notes and and more people will do it, and then more people will do it, and it just floods the internet, and it empowers people. People who've never made YouTube videos.
It's so intense. But the fact is that it's not really meant to be a genuine persona that they're giving. They're giving off a specific performance persona that's just over the top. It's very, very intense. It's very loud. It's very energized. And you get the feeling that it's persona, but since it's so obviously a persona, it doesn't phase you so much. It doesn't come across as being stilted or awkward. It just comes across as two guys who are really, really forcing some energy to be entertaining. And it's not off-putting. That's the biggest thing. I'm sure it's off-putting for a lot of people because it's frankly kind of loud and a little too over the top, but it didn't come across as them lying to you.
Ever in their lives are turning their webcams on, and they're holding out a note. It's a beautiful thing. And it's not a Rhett Link thing. It's a you thing. It's a you thing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supernoting. I'm so excited. I cannot keep this up.
Some intentional gestures in there with the pointing that he's doing. It's a you thing, and that's a very intentional gesture. It is obviously one that he's going over the top with once again. That's just kind of the theme that we see from early days Rhett Link.
I can tell. That's why I'm entering in sort of at a lower plane right now. I'm gonna sort of talk in a normal way. But it's fine. You can be as excited as you want to because there is reason to be excited. Let me give you a couple of little facts about the Supernote contest. We had over 2,200 submissions. We didn't count all 2,200 because they weren't all legal.
So now you're seeing more of the natural gestures from Rhett, as he has specifically stated, you know what, I'm gonna take this energy level down. And now you can see more of the natural illustrators coming in, where a lot of people, they'll just kind of ambiguously move their hands around while they're talking. It's just moving your hands while you talk, and you see that happening from Rhett right now. Just him falling into his normal nonverbal pattern, which is cool to see somebody so early on in the internet being able to do that so naturally. And I think that's part of what made them so popular very early on, besides just the eye-catching and engaging content.
Supernotes, but that's how many people participated in the Supernote process.
At least, you know, there was a whole faction of people in a foreign land that they, you know what, they didn't even share with us the fact that they were doing it.
Swaziland.
I lost
really
the name for a
into
second.
Supernote.
There's at least thousands.
And we had
of
well
people
over,
who did it over there,
listen to this,
just their own thing, own Supernote thing.
Well over 2 million total video views for everything Supernote related over the past 2 months. That's pretty amazing. 2 million, well, I'm sure a few of you watched the same stuff a few times.
That is actually pretty impressive for that time, that era, 2008 YouTube, 2008 internet really, even that level of viewership was pretty impressive. So that's just a side note.
But I think we can safely say that the Supernote Live or the Supernote experiment has reached about 1 million people.
Okay, that's all that I'm gonna do for the first little blip here. I'm gonna try to keep these videos a little bit more punchy, a little bit more lighthearted. One, I'm not gonna lie, it's so much easier on my psyche to be able to do these videos where I'm not studying to see why somebody did some sort of terrible, heinous thing to another person, be it drama, all the way up to extreme criminal behavior. This is just a chance for me to be able to still talk about nonverbal communication and for you to maybe see some of your favorite creators or actors or anything like that over the years. I always love watching the before they were famous videos. I don't know why. I know it's a cliche, and I am a sucker for those cliches. I love watching the before they're famous, and this is kind of pulling in that side of things as well. So I hope you are going to enjoy this series. It's not performing super well right now on my channel, but I'm gonna stick with it, and I hope that you at least appreciate it somewhat. So my little analysis of early on Rhett Link is so much more energy, very fake forced energy. You can tell by their misalignment in their gestures. Their tone is very pushed too. It's very forced all the way around. But despite that forcing of personality, they don't come across as extremely fake to you because it's a personality. This continues throughout the years, and I'll talk about that as we continue.
I'm willing to bet that my morning routine is unlike anyone else's on Earth.
Hi, I'm Specialist Hope from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Let's talk about that.
Good.
Okay, just so you know, this is the first Good Mythical Morning episode. They had some other various name changes here and there along the way, but this is the first time that they actually use the term Good Mythical Morning at the beginning of an episode for the episode. So I wanted to show you the beginning of more or less a very long era in YouTube history. And we can see the set's different. They sit on different sides. They look the same age. I'm not gonna lie. They look exactly the same age. Rhett has a beard. But let's see how their body language behaves centered around this aging and a new show. And is it going to be more dynamic? Is it going to be less dynamic? Let's find out.
Mythical Morning.
This first ever inaugural episode of Good Mythical Morning is brought to you by Aura Brush.
I skipped their sponsored video. So I can see some intentional moves that they're doing with their body that isn't really lining up. A little bit of extra energy to it. They're still hamming up this performance just a touch. And I think the reason for that is because when they started, there was nothing like this. There wasn't really a show that you can go and watch like they had, which is why they did so well. They kind of set a new pattern. But the entertainment at the time to be similar to this was late night talk shows, that style of content. And that has a specific cadence and performance to it, and the people that are talking are very rarely genuine to the camera. So with that kind of content to bounce off of, we see Rhett and Link start their series where they now have personas that closely mimic what you would expect to see on maybe a television show or a talk show style thing. So what they're doing with their personalities is they are putting on their radio talk show host voices and performance to be able to really give off this feeling of a show, an actual show. So where some of you are watching and you're like, this just feels off, it feels like they might be forcing it maybe, that's why. It's because they are, but because that's how they started and they're staying true to themselves. Let's keep watching this little era of Good Mythical Morning.
You know, this is it, Link. It's beginning.
Usually you say this is it when something is ending. So that kind of threw me right from the beginning. Because this is the beginning.
This is the beginning of something beautiful, hopefully something special in your life. You know, whenever I'm beginning something new.
And you're talking about this show, right? I just want to clarify.
A lot of illustrators with their hands, it feels like they're using their hands so much that it's been coached. At this point, I feel like they probably have received some acting, improv, or speaking classes, anything along those lines that would help you better use your nonverbal communication during speaking instances. But they're very intentional, over-the-top, specific gestures that feel forced because they're not exactly lining up with the emotions that they're displaying or even the words that they're saying. They're just gestures. Likelihood is they have been coached to use their hands and they're trying to understand how to do that best. This coupled with their entertainment personalities that they have kind of crafted across the years gives you this almost detached feel to their content. They still seem like nice guys. It just doesn't feel like you're seeing the real Rhett and Link.
Yeah, the show.
You're talking about the show.
Yeah. What do you think? Like our relationship?
I didn't know if you were about to blindside me with something.
You've been my best friend since 1984. I didn't think I had to define that.
This is it, Link. It's over. Our friendship is over. Yeah, I dread that day, Rhett, when that happens.
Whenever I'm starting something new, I usually wear a V-neck on that day.
With a hoodie over it.
It's like, it centers me emotionally.
So see, you can see they're really performing. And they do feed off of each other quite well. That's why the dynamic of the show works okay, is that they do actually feed off of each other pretty solidly. But you could see Rhett really using some like specific illustrators with his hands. So that's where I feel like he has been coached at this point on how to present himself non-verbally. Is it flawless? By all means, no. But is it still fun? Yeah, it's still fun.
We're glad that you joined us. Thanks for watching. We want this to be something, like Rhett said, special. We want it to be mythical. We want this to be part of your daily routine. We want it to be part of your morning routine, or, you know, we already recognize that some people are going to be watching this thing, perhaps you, at a time that is not actually in the morning.
But it's always a mythical morning somewhere.
That could be like a slogan or something on a cereal box.
We should make a t-shirt that says that.
Whenever you watch this show, that's when your mythical morning happens.
You know, we
It's
had
like a new beginning.
We had a show last year called Good Morning Chia Lincoln.
This entire segment, this bit that they're doing, feels very rehearsed because of the personas that they've put on. There's a lot of hesitations in the body language. There's a cadence behind their voice that sounds like it was maybe written for TV rather than for YouTube. And it gives you this feeling of maybe I'm not watching a YouTube video, maybe I'm watching a Saturday morning program that can be viewed by both adults and kids. And that's how they actually separated their content from everybody else's, is that it had such a specific production quality that they became what they often referred to themselves as is entertainers. They are entertainers above all else on their show. It's not meant to be raw and real. It's meant to be entertaining, and their body language is showing that by just all of the dynamic of it that isn't quite natural.
This is a little bit like that show. You know, it's not about anything in particular. We're not going to be talking about the sad, dreary news stories. We're not going to be talking about celebrity news and who's getting divorced and who's getting married and Justin Bieber.
Big hesitation there at the end with the Justin Bieber. But also I find it funny because here they are on this channel, which oftentimes looks at things like celebrity news, drama, and crime, which are those downers that they were mentioning. So I'm sorry if you are feeling down from my content recently. That's why I'm doing this stuff.
Really? We can't talk about
We cannot talk about Justin Bieber. That is the first rule of Good Mythical Morning. I just came up with it.
That is the first rule, and there's two different moves there. It should be that is the first rule. It lines up with the words that are being said, but it's disconnected. That is the first rule. And his arm's doing his own thing. I kid you not. There are people who, when they're trying to lie or when they're trying to pull off any level of deception, their body language falls apart. This is an extreme example of that. That is an extreme example of nonverbal misalignment, where he says something and his arm's just like having its own mind over here. That happens in deception as your thoughts, your mind, your feelings are over here, but you're trying to present an idea over here. So your body is trying to do a thing that your mind is not doing, and it ends up being disconnected. It makes it to where it's no longer side by side and flowing continuously together. It's this is over here doing this while you're just like, no, I'm really just trying to be gentle, and this hand's just going nuts. So that's what you're seeing there. It's kind of fun to note that level of nonverbal misalignment. Let's keep watching.
I was hoping there wouldn't be any rules.
Okay.
No rules.
No rules, except we can't talk about Justin Bieber. This is a bright spot in your day. You know, we had people write in about Good Morning Chia Link, and they said, you know, I watch it every morning when I'm eating breakfast. I watch it when I get home from school. I watch it right before I go to bed. I'm a security guard. This is how security guards talk. I'm a security guard.
And they stand like this.
If you ever noticed when
Because they're securing things.
when security guards speak, they put their fists on their hips.
I'm securing my belt to my hand.
What a fun and wacky personality that they're doing. That's all it is. That's all that they're doing right now, obviously. If you couldn't notice that, that's rough, but that's what they're doing. It's just a personality that they are showing. This isn't the real Rhett and Link. It's fueled by the real Rhett and Link. They are genuinely pretty nice people, but it's very, very much a facade. It's very much a personality that they have cultivated for screen.
I'm a security guard, and I watch Good Mythical Morning while I'm securing this building here. See, you can watch it anywhere. It's always a Mythical Morning, wherever it is for you. Just make it a part of your day.
We'll release it 6 a.m. Eastern Time every weekday morning so that you can count on it.
All right, so there's that little segment, the little beginning of an era, so to speak. Rhett and Link have taken the energy levels down substantially. They're not nearly as over the top. They're not yelling at the camera anymore. They're really being more natural all the way around, and that comes across quite nicely on camera. Now, they have done this for some time, so not only is there talent that they have, but they also have practice. They have honed their craft of being entertainers for some while now, and that still shows. But that's not the end of it here. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to the most recent video that they have released as of me recording this video right now on their channel, which is many years down the way, and we can hopefully see a large difference between them then and them now, because that is a vast time difference there, and there's a lot of chances for things to change and develop. Let's find out what happens.
Is non-alcoholic alcohol any fun at all?
Let's talk about that. Good Mythical Morning.
You know how some people put vodka in their orange juice so they can have their vitamin C and an excuse to take a nap before noon? Well, what if I...
All right off the bat, you could already see that they still have their same entertainer personalities, personas happening on their channel to this day. They have maintained the same feeling, the same vibe all the way throughout. And their nonverbal communication now is even more subdued than it was earlier. They're much older than they were to begin with, and their body language and personality has mellowed over the time, while still maintaining this persona feeling to it.
I told you that they make a vodka without the part that makes you sleepy.
You talking about Four Loko? Because that is not a road you want to go down, trust me.
No, I'm just talking about non-alcoholic liquor, man.
This is all scripted. The way that they're interacting, the way that they're bouncing off of each other, and their nonverbal communication doesn't have the same energy as it would as if it were unscripted. If this were completely improv, then there would be a lot more attempts to understand, and that would also show up on their faces as they're studying and trying to catch up to where the other person's saying and adjusting, so on and so forth. That mental processing should show up on their face. But at very least, it does have a bullet point format that they are following step to step for their videos. This just helps them also as far as churning out large amounts of content. It's easier to churn out scripted content than it is to have unscripted content.
Okay, forget I ever said anything.
I mean, it's staggering to see how many alcoholic, non-alcoholic beverages, or maybe I should call them non-alcoholic alcoholic beverages.
That's it.
Are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it turns out lots of people want to live that healthy life and that party life at the same time. But personally, I do not get the buzz.
Something that I do have to say is that Rhett and Link have aged very little over the years, so that's cool to see. But as far as their body language goes, one of the big tells for them is if you look in this area of the face, it's right in here where as you smile, a genuine smile, there's activity in this area, and it stays pretty subdued throughout all of their expressions. Now, it does reach their eyes with them squinting lightly with smiles and emoting with their eyebrows, but it's just a small, subtle sign that a lot of the joy and energy that they're putting out to people is part of their persona. It's part of their show. They're probably not nearly this energetic anymore. It's likely still bleeding over from their personas.
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
I don't get it either, but maybe we will by the end of this episode. It's time for non-alcoholic liquor is a thing that exists, but does it taste good or is the lack of booze a miss?
Please welcome back the Helmet Flavor Taster, aka the HFT 2021.
Oh, yes. The Mythical Crew has tracked down some of the most popular and best-selling non-alcoholic liquors meant to emulate... Whoa!
So there you go. You can see them really acting for these roles. They're both making constant faces to the camera while the other's speaking in a way that really comes across as being forced because there's not an emotional reason behind it that would inspire that. So that nonverbal misalignment that you are seeing and maybe not realizing that that's what you're seeing lends to this feeling of being like, oh man, they just don't seem as genuine or as real as they used to be. And to be very frank, they haven't changed too much. They really haven't changed too much. This persona has been there the entire time. And so Rhett and Link are trying to evolve while maintaining true content from their original style. Let's keep watching.
Oh, I've never done that before.
Emulate it. Do it at opportune times. Not when I'm explaining the rules. Okay, so these are supposed to emulate the taste of certain alcoholic counterparts. Now, we're going to be served these booze-free boozes through these booze-free booze tubes. And then we're going to try and guess what kind of alcohol they're supposed to taste like.
You try, man. It's pretty fun. All right. After the answer is revealed, like a trumpet.
Oh,
I know you only did it for a
closed.
couple of weeks.
You might need to open
Before
the
yours was stolen. Oh, it's coming. You didn't tell me that it was coming out of my mouthpiece. We're also going to rank how much we like these things, and to really make an actual assessment, we're going to be served a mocktail with it in proper context.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop that video there because this is their content and we're not here to consume their content. If you want to see how this video turns out, just go over and subscribe to Rhett Link. Good Mythical Morning is a great channel, like I said, and you should obviously subscribe. So let's talk a little bit about the body language evolution of Rhett Link from many, many years ago, 14-ish years ago, all the way up until present day. How has it changed? How has it evolved? And how has it stayed the same? Well, long story short, it has stayed almost completely the same except for their energy levels. As they've gotten older, they've mellowed out. They've realized that it's not as important to force this over-the-top energy just to get people to like you. But where it stayed the same is they still have the same almost radio DJ talk show host vibe while they're speaking, and this comes out in their nonverbal communication with massive misalignments as expressions happen that have no emotional reason, as gestures happen that don't synchronize with the words that are being said. I love Rhett and Link. They're fantastic creators, and I always am happy to have people go and check out their content. But if you were watching ages ago and now you just feel like it's falling a little flat, I hope this may have cleared up some of the stuff for you. Maybe you can go back in and really watch to see how their personas change throughout it, and maybe that will help reinvigorate your desire to watch some of Good Mythical Morning again. Regardless, excellent creators and really fun to watch their body language throughout the years. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, this might not do as well as some of the drama or the true crime content that I normally do, but it certainly does better on my health and mental well-being in general. So I appreciate your patience. I would love it if you were able to share this with Rhett and Link. Maybe they'll see it and appreciate it themselves and be able to see how they've developed over the years as well. If you do have any other content creators or celebrities or singers, so on and so forth, anybody who is actively in front of a camera regularly and you would like to be able to see their body language evolution, let me know in the comments below and I might be able to get around to just that. I do believe that next on the list right now is Markiplier, and he has also been on the platform for many, many years. So there should be some fun, dynamic body language to go through and analyze and just see how it's evolved over the years. But without further ado, that's all that I've got for the day. My name is Logan and you have been oh so awesome as you always are. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.